Have you ever met someone who completely defies your expectations? Someone who makes you question everything you thought you knew? It's a curious human tendency, isn't it? How quickly we form judgments based on surface-level observations. In the bustling heart of New York City, two vastly different worlds were about to collide over an unexpected game of chess. On one side, Julian Hayes, a young scion of immense wealth and a formidable chess prodigy. His life seemed to follow a preordained path of success and privilege, cushioned by a legacy of old money and Ivy League degrees. He moved through his circles with an air of assured confidence, bordering on arrogance, his mind often miles away, lost in intricate strategic calculations. His frequent visits to the Grand Bistro, an exclusive establishment catering to the city's elite, were usually solitary affairs, punctuated only by his rapid-fire emails and the quiet clinking of cutlery. On the other, Simone Dubois, a resilient 25-year-old black waitress, navigating life with quiet dignity and an unseen brilliance. Her days at the Grand Bistro were a masterclass in graceful efficiency, serving demanding patrons with a composure that belied the hustle. She observed the intricate dance of human interaction around her, often seeing more than anyone realized, a silent student of human nature. Her paths and Julian's, by all accounts, should have merely crossed with a fleeting exchange of orders and polite acknowledgments. But fate, as it often does, had a more intricate game in mind for them. Beneath Simone's composed exterior lay a depth of intellect and a spirit forged in quiet strength, a silent challenger to the superficiality Julian sometimes found himself trapped in. There was a subtle tension in the air when they were in the same room, a subconscious pull that hinted at something more profound than mere customer-server interaction. Stay with us to see how one seemingly insignificant game changed everything for two souls on different trajectories. But this wasn't just any game. It was a silent revolution brewing on 64 squares, poised to shatter assumptions and forge an undeniable connection. Imagine the absolute shock when the unbeatable meets their undeniable match in the most unexpected place by the most unexpected person. Julian Hayes had always been at the top of his game. A chess prodigy since childhood, his strategic mind was legendary in elite circles. He'd faced grandmasters, won championships, and rarely encountered a challenge he couldn't conquer. His reputation preceded him, often creating an aura of invincibility. One quiet evening at the Grand Bistro, nursing a post-dinner espresso, Julian found himself observing Simone. She was clearing tables with an almost thoughtful rhythm, a quiet grace in her movements. In a moment of casual arrogance, perhaps to alleviate boredom or simply to assert his intellectual prowess, he challenged her to a quick game of chess on his portable travel set, which he always carried. Just for fun, he'd said, a condescending smile playing on his lips, expecting a brief, amusing interlude. Simone, with a calm gaze that held more depth than he could fathom, simply nodded, a faint, knowing smile barely touching her lips. The game began, a quiet storm unfolding amidst the clinking of cutlery and hushed conversations. Julian played with his usual aggressive precision, employing complex openings he'd mastered over years, expecting a swift and decisive victory. But Simone, seemingly effortlessly, countered every move. Her fingers moved with a practiced grace, her mind a fortress of strategy that anticipated his every attack, creating intricate defenses. She played not just with skill, but with an intuitive understanding of the game, almost a fluidity he'd never encountered. 26 moves later, Julian stared at the board, utterly bewildered. His king was trapped, an inescapable checkmate. Simone said softly, her voice a gentle whisper against the roar of his disbelief. He had lost. To his waitress. The sensation was foreign, unsettling, exhilarating. The humiliation was immediate, but quickly overshadowed by an intense, burning curiosity. How? Why? He watched her retreat to the kitchen, a silhouette against the warm glow, and realized with a jolt that he hadn't even asked her last name. His world, once so predictable and conquerable, suddenly had an intriguing, elusive variable. He was gripped by an obsession, not of anger, but of profound intrigue. Who was this woman? How could someone he had so carelessly dismissed possess such a formidable intellect? Every waking thought became a quest to understand her, to find her. The loss wasn't just on the chessboard. It was a challenge to his very identity, forcing him to confront his own preconceptions and the narrow lens through which he viewed the world. Simone, on the other hand, felt a quiet validation. It was a fleeting moment of recognition for a talent she rarely showcased, a brief glimpse into her hidden world. But with that victory came a quiet apprehension. She knew the type, the privileged, the persistent. Would this be the end, or just the beginning? Julian's world had indeed been shaken, but the real mystery was just beginning to unfold, leading him on a search far beyond the gilded halls of his privileged life and into an unexpected corner of the city. What if the person you're desperately seeking isn't found in grand ballrooms or exclusive clubs, but exactly where they're needed most, quietly shaping lives? Julian's search for Simone began in earnest, but his usual methods, tapping into his vast network of contacts, checking elite club memberships, even discreetly inquiring at the bistro, yielded nothing. She was a ghost in the high society he moved in. Days turned into weeks, and his frustration mounted. It was almost as if she didn't exist outside of that one fateful encounter. Then, one rainy afternoon, while driving through a vibrant but less affluent neighborhood in Brooklyn on a detour, fate intervened again. He passed the Harmony Hub, a local community center buzzing with activity. Through a large, arched window, he saw a familiar silhouette. There, at a worn chessboard, sat Simone. But this wasn't the composed waitress he knew. This was Simone, the mentor. She was surrounded by eager young faces, some barely tall enough to see over the table, patiently guiding them through opening moves. Her laughter echoed warmly in the spacious room, a sound so genuine and joyful, it captivated Julian. He watched, mesmerized, as she effortlessly transitioned from teaching a complex knights, moved to consoling a child who'd lost a piece, her eyes full of genuine compassion. He learned from a local volunteer that Simone volunteered tirelessly, teaching chess to underprivileged kids, offering them not just a game, but a sanctuary and a skill for life. He also overheard whispers of her profound dedication to her ailing mother and younger siblings, for whom she worked relentlessly, often taking on extra shifts, putting her own dreams aside to ensure their well-being. This was Simone beyond the chessboard, beyond the bistro uniform. This was the heart of her brilliance. For Julian, witnessing Simone in her element at the Harmony Hub was a profound revelation. His previous frustration dissolved into a deep sense of humility and admiration. He saw her selflessness, her quiet sacrifices, and the immense love she poured into her community. It was a stark contrast to the transactional world he inhabited, a world where contributions were often measured in financial terms alone. The arrogance that had once defined him began to recede, replaced by a stirring of genuine respect and a profound desire to contribute in a meaningful way. Simone, unaware of Julian's presence, felt a quiet satisfaction in her work. Teaching these children was her refuge, her way of giving back, and a silent continuation of her own love for the game she rarely got to play seriously. She carried the weight of her family's well-being with incredible grace, never complaining, always finding joy in the small victories of her students. Her world, though constrained by circumstance, was rich in purpose and connection. This new understanding of Simone didn't just change Julian's perception of her. It sparked a fundamental shift within himself, compelling him to act in ways he never imagined, ways that would ripple through Simone's life. Sometimes, the greatest gifts aren't what you receive, but the life-altering opportunities you help create for others, shaping destinies with quiet conviction. Driven by his newfound respect for Simone, Julian began to act, not with grand gestures, but with quiet, impactful support. He anonymously channeled significant funds to the Harmony Hub, leading to much-needed renovations, new chessboards, better lighting, and a dedicated quiet space for study. The children and volunteers celebrated with infectious joy, unaware of their benefactor, but grateful for the sudden burst of resources. Watching from a distance, Julian felt a satisfaction far deeper than any business deal had ever brought him. Soon after, he approached Simone directly, not as the arrogant patron from a bistro, but as a genuine admirer of her talent and spirit. He offered her a newly created, well-paying position as the program director for the New York Youth Chess Initiative, a project he was funding through his family's foundation. It was a role that offered stability, professional growth, and a significant platform for her passion. Simone was hesitant. Years of prioritizing her family had ingrained a sense of responsibility that made her wary of accepting help or of pursuing her own ambitions, feeling it would be selfish. But Julian, demonstrating a patience she hadn't expected from him, explained how her unique ability to connect with young people, especially those from underserved communities, was exactly what the initiative needed. He assured her the role would provide the flexibility she needed for her family, and that the foundation could also provide additional support for her mother's care. Julian also subtly, almost playfully, challenged her. "The world deserves to see your talent, Simone, not just on a local board." He hinted at a bigger stage, a return to competitive chess, planting a seed of possibility she hadn't dared to consider in years. For Simone, Julian's offer was overwhelming. It was a lifeline, but also a test of her courage to embrace her own dreams. The thought of stepping out of her comfort zone, of delegating family care, was daunting. Yet, seeing the joy the renovated Harmony Hub brought to the kids, and feeling Julian's genuine, non-patronizing belief in her, she felt a flicker of hope she hadn't allowed herself in years. His persistent, yet gentle encouragement was a revelation. For Julian, this journey was transformative. He was learning the profound joy of giving, of truly seeing and valuing someone beyond their social status. He found immense satisfaction in helping Simone unlock her potential, not just for her own benefit, but for the entire community she touched. The professional offer was a calculated move, a subtle push towards her true calling. The unspoken understanding and mutual respect between them grew deeper with each conversation, a silent acknowledgement of a connection evolving beyond mere benefactor and beneficiary. With new foundations laid and a rekindled flame for the game ignited within Simone, she found herself standing at the precipice of a challenge that would not only test her skill, but also solidify an unexpected bond forged in strategy and shared purpose. Beyond the final move, beyond the roaring crowd, lies the ultimate victory, the profound connection forged when two souls find their true purpose together. Julian's subtle prodding paid off. Without Simone's initial knowledge, he registered her for the prestigious Manhattan Chess Classic, a tournament that brought together the nation's most formidable players. When she found out, Simone's initial reaction was a mix of shock and indignation. But Julian, with a rare hint of vulnerability she found disarming, convinced her. "Just play one game," he pleaded, "for the joy of it. For yourself." She agreed, but with one condition: he had to play too. And so, an unlikely training partnership began. Late nights were spent at the now-renovated Harmony Hub, poring over opening strategies, analyzing in-game scenarios, and simply enjoying the unspoken camaraderie that grew between them. Julian, no longer just a detached strategist, found himself deeply invested in Simone's success, cheering her on with an unreserved passion he never knew he possessed. Simone, in turn, challenged him, pushed his limits, and brought out a humility in his game that made him a better player, not just technically, but in spirit. The tournament itself was a whirlwind of tension and triumphs. Simone, with her quiet focus and undeniable brilliance, systematically dismantled opponent after opponent. The crowd, initially dismissive of the unknown waitress-turned-prodigy, quickly became captivated by her elegant, powerful play. In the final round, with cameras flashing and the air thick with anticipation, Simone executed a brilliant checkmate against a seasoned grandmaster, securing her victory as the Manhattan Chess Classic champion. The roar of the crowd was deafening, but her eyes found Julian's across the room, a silent acknowledgement of their shared journey. Later, amidst the subdued glow of a quiet celebration, Julian confessed his feelings, not with grand pronouncements, but with a sincere vulnerability she found irresistible. "Simone," he began, his voice soft, "you've taught me more than any textbook ever could. You've shown me what true strength, true purpose, and true connection look like. My world was so small before you." Simone, her heart swelling with emotion, reciprocated, recognizing in him not just a partner in chess, but a partner in life, someone who saw her, truly saw her, beyond her circumstances. It was a beautiful, powerful realization that their greatest victories weren't found in individual achievements, but in the profound connection they had cultivated. If this story of unexpected connections, profound growth, and the transformative power of belief resonated with you, imagine the possibilities when we break down our own preconceived notions and dare to support the potential in others. Join us next time as we explore more tales of transformation and resilience that challenge our perceptions and inspire our hearts. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content. And let us know in the comments, what's one unexpected encounter that truly changed the course of your life?